I think we all understand and agree that 2026 is the year of the agents. And we have made a lot of progress from prompt engineering to context engineering. But there is this new discipline that not many people are talking about just yet, and it is called agent engineering. Let me explain you what I really mean. We are all so much focused on building agents and getting them to production, the framework that we need to use, the tools, the deployment, the kind of UI that it will have, that we completely miss what needs to happen once the agents are in production. And the reason no one is actually talking about it is because when your agent is running and giving good responses, it almost feels like the job is done. But to be honest, it is not. And that's exactly what makes it super dangerous. So today, I want to break down what agent engineering actually is, why is it so critical, and how you can actually go ahead and start applying it. But I'm not going to start with theory as always. Let me show you what I mean first. And as always, all opinions are my own and do not belong to my employer. Let's see this in action, and then I will continue with explaining what agent engineering is all about. All right. So the best way to understand agent engineering is to see a live agent in action. So here, what I've done is I've created an application where I have got an embedded agent, which I created using Agent Development Kit, and the UI I created using Anti-Gravity. Now, this is a market research agent. And then the idea is if I ask a question about a particular company, it is going to be able to research that. Now, you can see on the right-hand side, it is already initiating an ADK session. So if I click on this, will actually show me the ADK session that it has initiated. So you can see, the number here, which will match. So 395,896. And this is exactly stuff happening on the front end and the back end as well. And I'm going to ask just research on Google. So I've given this particular task, and we can also see on the back end on what's happening. So now it is going to go ahead and get the stock price. From a UI perspective, it is providing us the kind of results that we want. But at the same time, on the back end, we can always go and look into the traces here and also look into the actions of each one of this. So it got the stock price and it provided the response back, which you're seeing over here. So what you just saw was an example of how an embedded agent in a custom UI is working on the front end, and how we are also able to track this back. Now, this looks fantastic, and we are seeing that the results are coming, based on the question that we're asking, everything looks fine. Is it fine though? And that's the question which agent engineering answers. Let me spend a few minutes to explain what are those things that we probably are missing when we see a beautiful UI like this, which is providing the response that we were expecting. And then we just say that, okay, this is fine, let's move on. So let's get into that. So what is agent engineering? The definition is pretty straightforward. It's the iterative process of refining non-deterministic LLM systems into reliable production experiences. I know that was a mouthful. Let me break that. Non-deterministic means every time you run your agent, it can behave differently. Same question, different response. That's what makes agent very powerful, but that's also what makes them unpredictable in production. The keyword to note here is iterative. It's a cycle. You build, test, ship, then you observe, refine, and then repeat. Shipping is not the finish line. Shipping is how you learn the process. Agent engineering combines three skill sets. First, product thinking. Did you scope this agent right? Are your prompts shaping behavior the way you intended? Have you defined what good actually looks like? Number two is going to be engineering. Is your infrastructure production ready? Are you handling the errors well? Is there human in the loop? Is there memory available? Is your execution durable? The third one is evaluation, most critical one, right? How do you actually know it's working? Are you running evals? Are you running monitoring? Are you catching failures before your users do? This is where most of the teams fall short. There was a survey which was done by LangChain. Over 1,300 engineers were surveyed. The number one blocker was quality. There's a company called Klarna that learned this the really hard way. They actually deployed an AI agent which was handling 2.3 million customer conversations. The numbers looked really amazing, but the quality was slightly degrading. They had to reverse course and bring back human agents. The dashboard, just like our demo, really looked great, but nobody could see the quality slipping. And that is exactly what agent engineering is designed to close. Now, let me go back to our agent and show you what this looks like in practice. All right, so I'm going to show you how I was able to use Anti-Gravity's terminal to build the ADK agent pretty quickly. I actually used Agent Starter Pack to build this agent, and this provides you the fastest way to go ahead and create ADK agents. And you will see this in action right now. So you need to provide the name of your project, and you will see here they have provided template with the beautiful menu options. You can have a Python based agent or Go, Java, and others as well. And then it asks you where do you want to deploy. So I'm going to go with Cloud Run. And then whether do you want to have memory? So I'm just going to give it in memory. And then it also gives you an option for a fully deployed agent with CI/CD pipelines and all of those things. For the moment, I'm going to give it a simple one. And then it asks where do you want to keep the agent deployed, right? So I'm just going to give it as US Central. And now it is able to go ahead and create the agent. So it just created the base agent for you, right? So now you can see that I can get into this particular folder. And here, if I expand on this, it was able to create all of these files, right? So this is the standard base agent that it has created. And this is where once you are done with this, you can actually ask Anti-Gravity to do more, right? So I'm just going to give it this particular command and it should be able to run the agent for us. It is installing all the libraries. It is all automatically creating the virtual environment. So this is the Agent Starter Pack in action for you. As I mentioned before, I also have a video on this, so you can go back and refer to it. I'll also put that link in the description. But I really love the Agent Starter Pack because it just makes it super easy to create a Google Agent Development Kit based agent. So you're seeing that in action right now. So we'll give it a second for it to show the agent's web UI. This is again a development UI. And then once you have this, you can basically work with Anti-Gravity and ask to create a custom UI and then point it to this particular agent, right? So there you go. It has created this. So if I click on this, this is the agent, and then I can say hi. And there you have the agent running for you in a very short amount of time. So that was the first thing which I did. All right. So the next thing that you can do is you can actually go to Anti-Gravity and you can ask Anti-Gravity to go ahead and make the changes to your agent. So you will see here, this was the one where I actually asked Anti-Gravity to go ahead and make the changes to the agent, and it basically updated this code. And here you will see that here it is now greeting with this particular way to anybody who's interacting with the agent. And you can see here, I have instructed that you are a senior market research analyst, and it's going to basically call the Google search tool and the get stock price tool, right? So those are the two tools that Anti-Gravity was able to write based on the prompt that I was given. You can see that it also wrote the get stock price as a tool here, and it was able to create an option over here, right? So that is something which Anti-Gravity is able to do. Now, what I also did was asked Anti-Gravity to create this UI and then align that UI to this particular agent. And that's how I was able to get to the UI that we saw in the beginning, which is this one, right? So here you would see that we have connected this particular UI to the agent that we saw before. If you guys are interested in understanding more about how to get Anti-Gravity to create a custom UI, please let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy to make a separate video about that. But this video is more about explaining you the agent engineering side of the house. So I want to be more focused on the evaluation and the observability side of the house. All right. So now that you have seen how we were able to create a base agent, then you use Anti-Gravity to update it so that it can be more enriched, and then also how we were able to create the UI. Let's get into the next piece where I would want to show you how, though this looks great when you're interacting with it, it still might not have everything that we need. All right. All right. To show you what's happening under the hood, I am now in the dev UI for the same agent that we saw before, which is this particular agent. So you can see here that I'm going to start a new discussion. So I'm just going to say hi, and this will invoke the agent. And you can see the invocation where it is calling this particular large language model. If I click on the sessions as well, you will start to see right now the only thing which is happening is the root agent is talking. So I'm going to ask for it to do a research on this on Google stock, and you will see now that the root agent is actually doing a Google search, calling the Google search tool, and then also calling the Google get stock price tool. And this is where you are able to see what is happening under the hood, right? Now, based on that, it is going to generate a response. You're seeing that it is happening in real time. And you're going to see this particular response being shared here as soon as it stops running. But then you can see the entire process of what exactly is happening under the hood. Is it actually making a call to Google search, or is it hallucinating? Is it actually making a call to the stock price tool, or is it hallucinating? All of these are going to become super clear. And then you can see that for each one of these, you are able to exactly pinpoint where the agent has gone and got the information from. So you can see all of these different domains where the agent is actually going ahead and getting the information, et cetera, right? So this is super critical for you to have a deeper understanding of what is really happening under the hood of your agent. Most of the times what happens is you are not really paying attention to how the multi-agent system is acting under the hood or performing under the hood. Is it going through all the right tools that we had actually initially asked the agent to go through? Is the orchestrating agent doing the right job? Is the Google search tool working fine? So it becomes super critical for you to be able to understand what is really going on. And you can see the number of times this particular agent is making a call, right? Now, if you just looked at the UI, all you're looking at is that UI is waiting for you to get the answer. But when you look under the hood, you are able to see that the number of times it has actually invoked these tools. And this would also result in those number of tokens being generated and created. And this is where having observability like this is super critical. Now, what you're looking at right now is more at a development UI for a one-time run, but you are actually able to get all of this exported into your cloud instance where you're able to monitor this, right? And that is something which is a major part of agent engineering. So you can see now it has generated the report as we were expecting, and it has done a really good job. And if you just look at this from the outside, you will feel very happy about the quality of the report that you have got. But then when you look at the trace and the number of times it has invoked the search and the number of times it has invoked these different tools, this is what becomes super critical for you to evaluate and also observe your agent's behavior. Also, you see here that even I have not created an evaluation data set. And this is exactly what I was talking about, right? When we are creating these agents in production, we are completely missing out on all of these critical elements. We saw some level of observability. This is, again, as I mentioned, I wouldn't call it observability yet because this is more on a one-time instance. And these are, look, you can look at this as events, but then you are able to, once it is in production, you're able to get this completely in a Google Cloud instance, and you are able to build a dashboard on top of it. So let me bring all of this together. What you just saw is what most teams look like right now. A great agent, a great UI, some level of event tracking, but no real production, no observability, and no evaluation. And this is exactly what agent engineering is asking us to fix. Remember, it's three things, right? Product thinking, which is scope your agent right. We, I think, did that perfectly. Engineering, which is make your infrastructure production ready. So again, we did that well because we were able to select whether we are deploying it in Cloud Run or somewhere else. Evaluation, and that is the one which everyone skips. The tools to do this already exist. ADK supports Opal telemetry and Cloud Trace out of the box. When you deploy through Agent Starter Pack to Cloud Run, your traces can go straight to Google Cloud. Every LLM call, every tool invocation with timing and cost. ADK also has a built-in evaluation framework. You define the test cases, score responses for relevance and accuracy, and run them systematically. And there are tools like Agent Ops that give you full dashboards, cost tracking, latency execution replays with just two or three lines of code. The tooling is there. The problem is most teams don't use it. And that's how quality silently degrades. Now, I'm going to potentially do a deep dive on each one of these in an upcoming videos, setting up Cloud Trace, running evals, and building monitoring dashboards. Do let me know if this is something you want to see, right? I mean, as you can see, it takes a lot of effort to build this. So I would really appreciate if a lot of you are interested, then I'm happy to go ahead and build something like that for you. All right, so that was all for today that I wanted to cover. If you found this content useful, please let me know in the comment section. Please hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button as well so that you can get these kind of videos on a regular basis. Thank you once again for your time. Thank you for watching. And I will see you in the next one.